from the mindness at the mystery font. It is a simple response to Kevin Roberts. Have you seen one of these puff pieces? One of these smokem hokems? One of these, oh gosh, golly, you wanted to hear my opinion on this matter I don't know a whole lot about? Such that somehow the president of the Heritage Foundation decides to offer a few thoughts. Let me come in here and massage your understanding of something you're saying is vile and a cancer upon humanity. I'm just going to come in and let you know, oh, it's all fine and dands. It's all dandy towns over here. In my hands. In my hands that just put something on my head that have shown me to be caught red-handed. Who is Kevin Roberts? The head of the Heritage Foundation and of Project 2025 threatened your family and everyone in America and only held back on the diabolically sensational publishing of his new book on September 11th because he's afraid it will damage by showing the Nazi cards in their hands what they intend to do as part of Trump's Project 2025. Threatening to get out of the street or you will find blood or death is not civil discourse, and Kevin Roberts should be in jail. He is a thug and a Gestapo normalizing Nazi. When brown shirts like this ridiculous Ku Klux Klan or J.D. Vance or others come swinging around Hitler speak, like calling people an infection or making lies about people doing horrific things or things that are against our decency or against our morals and mores as society. And then journalists take up repeating the lie as opposed to repeating that there is someone screaming falsehoods and naming that falsehood screamer. Because Kevin Roberts is one of the donners of the falsehood. He is a dangerous thug and a Nazi. And his group should be disbanded. The Heritage Foundation is a collection of people who should be in therapy or jail. And this kind of association should be something that ends careers or redefines them when people realize they have been led into a web of some of the worst depravity in humanity. The Ku Klux Klan is that depravity. The Nazis are that depravity. And it is exactly that particle of exclusion and hatred that Kevin Roberts brings to the table. It is folks like Stephen Miller. It is his own group, the Heritage Foundation, and the associated Agenda 47. Project 2025 is Kevin Roberts' project, and a project of M. M, or the murder, or the murderer. M is the villain known as Stephen Miller. He is the architect of kids in cages. He is an architect of separating families and losing the coat ticket, making a joke out of crushing hope and love and family. He is a worshiper of Adolf Hitler. He has strewn and written into Trump's language the terroristic excoriation straight from Mein Kampf. It is Stephen Miller's mind, often pricking on Donald Trump to say the unsayable, the unthinkable, the undoable, the unmentionable, the unforgivable. Because Trump is addicted to trumping. Trump is addicted to doing the unthinkable and then claiming that ground. Now I get to do that. Oh, you think you would, only terrible people would do that. Well, but I had to do that. He's claimed the ground of grabbing people by the genitals. He's claimed the ground of grabbing the most top secret documents in absolute theft and simply hanging on to them and claiming authority. It is actual colonization. It is plunder and imperial theft of territory. It is coercive violence, just as Hitler participated in with the Sudetenland. This is the bandwidth that Kevin Roberts and his thug friends bring. They are Nazis. They're Nazis. And they have plenty of alacrity and little fatigue to sow bloody damage and smile about it. The tools that M uses are hoax and sabotage and pre-planned embarrassment of people under spotlight on camera to hoax and cajole and terrorize and disrupt reality. The shocking boundary violation of direct animosity to show up knowing someone is suffering from your attack and to accuse them in the moment they're about to say, "Did you sling this arrow?" To show up with an accusation that in fact you have been the one slung, the one assaulted. That Stephen Miller and Donald Trump, and yes, disturbed, criminal, on the radar of their local police terrorists like Kevin Roberts, so coercive, aggressive, take it or else, malice and violence. It is terrorism. There are two tactics of terrorism: intimidation and violence. That is the playbook of the Heritage Foundation. That is the playbook of Stephen Miller. That is the playbook of Project 2025. The two tactics of terrorism: intimidation and violence. Within a substrate of normalized, accepted lying, and within a worldview that says and promulgates the idea that we are already at civil war, or that Stephen Miller is already fighting against people who have completely abandoned kindness. This is how Marjorie Taylor Greene and Stephen Miller and Donald Trump do what they do, is by living within a reality, a fully flipped reality. Because if the 2020 election were taken with massive fraud that was also somehow invisible, and that invisibility proved its massiveness, if that were actually true, then there really would be reason for outsized concern. If the massive big lies were true, it would make sense to mobilize in Washington. If the massive big lies were true and Trump had proof in his hand, which he never did, but if he had, I mean, people went to Washington because he and Rudy Giuliani said they had proof. It probably would have been enough to say, I just know it's true. There's proof everywhere, without actually saying, we have it and we'll show it to you. But a press conference in late November after the 2020 election declaring that they had proof and were not accepting the election, were calling the election fraudulent, and driving that all the way through January 6th. This was a plan of attack. And this iceberg-driving thug crew are the same malicious criminals now telling us that they didn't really mean that. They supported the ridiculous coup and tried to say it wasn't a coup. They heard chants for the vice president to be hung and didn't really have a problem. We are dealing with dark triad predators. Stephen Miller and Kevin Roberts are bringing something else, something other than the decent qualities. You know, they're not talking about something of cultural heritage due to a specific path of lineage. They're not talking about a special soup that their grandma made or the music of their grandfather's heritage. They're not talking about anything except for a vague nostalgia to which fascists always call. And they are normalizing suspicious, scarcity-based, venomous, othering anger. They're normalizing scapegoating on a planet where there is more than enough. They are normalizing deadly scapegoating. Certainly Stephen Miller has enough, but Nellie Olson's voice has found a home in whatever moment Stephen Miller decides to try to destroy someone. Simply using verbal tricks and unbuckled, unhinged aggression. He works to sow damage. He is a violent, corrupt thug. And this crusader against justice, this crusader against anti-racism, this crusader to try to cloak the matrix of white supremacist patriarchal terror as if nothing bad ever happened. And, oh, by the way, just profit massively from continuing enslavement math and entrenched harm and oppression. This is who the Project 2025 team and ethos is built around, is people like M. We need to be aware that they have passion and energy and work night and day to kill people. He wants people to suffer. He has already shown it. And likewise, we have seen Kevin Roberts' culture. We've seen how you do. We've seen what you bring to the table. That the culture that you bring, your white culture, is a culture of looting and raping and killing. And of admonishing people that that's a bad thing to do. And that you would never do that. That only monsters would do that. Until someone says, oh, hey, but can you not draw all the water from our local water source? We're kind of, maybe your lawn isn't worth sustainability. And then suddenly the poison wool blankets and the pitchforks come out from the person who tells us looting and raping and killing is wrong. Kevin Roberts is the same poison wool blankets thug, repeating the same, not just a mistake, but a plan of incredible, dishonorable crime and attack. That this group, who calls themselves aspirational and talks about being Christ-like, or says that this is a Christian nation, and by that mean that it will be ruled by people who say they are for Christ, and that we will rupture what has held us strong, both for our religions and for our democratic republic. That Kevin Roberts wants to destroy the separation between church and state and implant his corrupt Nazi Jesus, this Christian nationalist cancer that tells us that Jesus was pretty irresponsible to be homeless, and probably it's lucky that Christianity ever took off, because what a layabout. And that we know Jesus wouldn't make it over the border. We see Trump's Project 2025 not being just populated by Nazis, but driven by and for someone who is using villainous murder and othering based around race, based around all kinds of qualities that are emblematic of diversity and equity and inclusion, and are trigger points of targeting for disenfranchised and endangered communities. It's telling that amidst 911 pages of what Kevin Roberts would say is aspirational and about the American dream, there's basically nothing that addresses the direct attack by Trump, the Heritage Foundation, and Moms for Liberty upon civil liberty and human rights of more than half the population of this country. Not to mention the murder of many of those people, the murder and terrorism and torture of multiple women. And Kevin Roberts wakes with a smile and dashes off a nice, beautifully veneered little column about how, gosh, my little project is really swell. And the swelling we're dealing with is cancer. You are bringing a tumor of hate a tumor that will have at least the same amount of disastrous outcome, but this time even more directly honed in on bigotry, but will have the same disastrous outcome as you've had since 1980 or since 1972. My parents could buy a house with one income. They both worked, but initially my dad was working 2 jobs, but one of those jobs could have bought our house. Shuttled to today, to another big 50-year push kind of program called Project 2025. And you have already ruptured human rights for women and created further imbalance, making worse and more imperiled the state of more than half of our population. And the disinterest and calm that you shows that you believe you are above that. That you, as a white man, are above that. And you are calm because you don't need to worry about getting your tubes tied or being impregnated by somebody who's bigger than you. Boy. You are a Nazi, you are a patriarchal terrorist, and you are a criminal, and you will be stopped. That's the answer. You are a criminal. You are a terrorist, and you're a criminal. And the answer to us being admonished to watch you loot, rape, and kill while you tell other people that it's evil to loot, rape, and kill is get therapy right now or you will be taken to it. Get therapy right now or you and your Nazi thugs will be taken to therapy. We need you to apologize for your terrorism, not try to recloak it. Your project is done. Your project is done. That's where you are, Kevin. Go get therapy. Go get therapy and stop associating with idiots like M. Stop associating with Nazis like M. You are a terrorist, Kevin. We see you. And the answer we have for you is no. You will not control or coerce or scare us into being afraid of fear itself. Go get therapy, silly, ridiculous Nazi. Go get therapy. Stop trying to write puff pieces about yourself. And go get therapy. You ridiculous Ku Klux cuck criminal. Go get therapy. It can be handy, Scoop Troop, to remember to pull up the Darvo card. Sometimes we're confronting a person like Stephen Miller, or like Kevin Roberts, or any other number of people who we are clearly aware are liars, that we see them on the screen, or we see them step before us, and we want to say, I think that face is telling me I can believe everything it says. But I have a backlog of data here saying that this person gives me this feeling, this wonderful feeling, and I'm like, oh, yeah, give me some of that. Can I? Me too? Really? Can I? Yeah? But Lucy keeps yanking the football. You want to belong, but you're not on the guest list. And the dopamine hit doesn't quite pay off or land where it's supposed to. And you keep trying to fix that. Because he's not at the beginning or in the middle or the end of the day giving a solitary falcon crest about you. Because he is concerned about how it affects him. And the collusion between Project 2025 and Trump is clear in thousands of ways, but perhaps no more than this, that they are effortlessly parallel. They are effortlessly parallel, following a vector of an iceberg headed for democracy in America. It's just stunningly interesting that they keep choosing all the same music and keep cracking on in exactly the same direction. A constant vector to gather power and to terrorize and to bring into public a normalized lynch mob using, what's that scoop troop? Darvo. That's right. So, as I say, it can be handy dandy to keep it handy, Scoop Troop. Just to remember, sometimes throw it up over the view screen, because the falsehood is good at lying. The falsehood is good at lying when it feels like there's no reason to lie now. There's no reason for him to say, wow, but that feels so, I feel so, but it doesn't quite land. The landing pad you have to belong there isn't had. You are had. You are had. And Kevin Roberts is completely happy to watch you be had. Does it matter if someone is making plans with someone in whom they're essentially working in concert? Someone they are avoiding interrupting? There are all kinds of ways in which people can work hand in glove and almost never touch. But to the end of useless arguing about what and where, when we know we are past there and have, from the very beginning, been past there. Donald Trump is a malignant narcissist, and he's very, very good at lying. He's very, very good at cultivating the sense when you see him that, oh, he's going to let me know. I get in on this. His savvy is mine. Oh, I'm so smart to... Oh, please go on. He's good at lying. And sure, there's a reason for that bandage under his nose. Is that a bandage, or is it just a shadow, or is it something that grows? I don't know, but he knows. And he has absolute authority. I'm sure he must have absolute authority, because he keeps talking as if this meandering interruption of self with things that we know are about to pay off in ching gold coins that we're just wise to snuff out our lips and listen to his with their in chips. We are in an abusive relationship with an excellent con artist. Excellent con artists are good at using your array of pleasure, even if they are disgusting. They are good at using your array of dopamine and pleasure and survival. And so, even those of us who know to be afraid of someone who has donned the falsehood, we think we're getting some whiff of truth, or that nuggets of truth or fact amidst sour, rotten horse vomit and glass shard-strewn shit, that somehow there's something worthwhile in that mix. Oh, I found a photograph. It's a real photograph. It's not AI. Oh, but isn't all of that, like, you shouldn't touch that, your skin's going to burn off. Oh, right, but this is real. This thing right here. Oh, the thing that's dissolving with your fingers. Oh, yeah, well, but get it on recording. At least we know that it's real. Are there potentially diminishing returns to trying to find the nuggets of hijacked truth and fact amidst a cancer tract? He is only here to outrun and ultimately for conquest. He doesn't always entirely lie. He uses parts of the truth because then he doesn't have to remember so much of the lie. Just turn it inside out, or make it its opposite, or say that your person you're trying to hurt is trying to hurt you, and say that their plan is yours, or yours is theirs. An abusive relationship with someone who tells us you're going to get tired of winning ends up being very clearly that we are going to get tired of being beaten by someone and cannon fodder. They benched or punished or squandered or scapegoated or fired or deported or murdered part of the team that yesterday were the best people in the world and tomorrow he will say should be executed. The worst thing you can say about Kevin Roberts is that he has no notes for Donald Trump. Or it's at least as bad as anything else you can say about Kevin Roberts. But these people need help. When someone is a danger to themselves and others, we don't let them continue to swing around something in the street that may take out their eye and someone else's. Unless we have submitted. And once we realize that we have submitted, if we don't do something about it, we're lost. Recognizing that someone in a debate setting telling us he will keep us in suspense about following the rules, or that we're going to go forward with an election and we are passing Rubicons, and we're asking him, okay, but you're the candidate, so you are going to follow the law, right? You're going to believe the will of the voter, and if you're in office and then you lose the vote, you will honor a peaceful transfer of power, right? And he threatens us, I'll tell you at the time. I'm not going to tell you now. I'll tell you at the time. he casts upon us. I'll keep you in suspense. The illusion that he is someone who gets to tell us that and not be put into handcuffs or told to leave the stage in 2 minutes or less, or you will be lifted from the stage. The illusion that that was a valid thing for him to say without expecting jail is a reality distortion that we failed to apprehend in real time. Con artists use reality distortions to flummox us and at times shock us. A reality distortion that we can't even track, that comes out of nowhere. Like, what is the name of the truck that just hit us? Happens when people know how to hide violence in plain sight amidst no one wants to show that their boat was just rocked, lest they be thrown out. And so no one bats an eye or raises a finger to say, wait, is that his final answer? Wait, stop. Stop the debate. Stop the debate. No, someone, lights. Someone. Pull a fire alarm. That cannot be his final answer, and we go on. If that's his final answer, there are 10 Nazis at the table. If that's his final answer and we go on, this is not America. He told us how he would do it, and he kept us in suspense. And now, after teasing us that in fact he realized he lost by a whisker, he once again says, "Oh, no, 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 I'll keep you in suspense. Am I batshit insane and you will never, ever be able to control your life again? And my terror and fear spectrum is back in charge and it never left? We are in an abusive relationship and we have to say no. Saying no is even more magic than the hokum spread by Trump and Kevin Roberts and the diabolical villain known to humanity as M. M is the murderer. M is the creator of kids in cages. M may be marked once someone hears his whistle in the street and realizes that was the song I heard when little Elsie Beckman was taken, separated from her family and from life. That was the murderer. Go find him. I can't see, but I can hear. Mark him. Mark the murderer well. Go and mark the murderer. Tell people. That's the song that was used to sell Elsie Beckman's soul to hell. I know that song well. I know that song, and it buries children at the bottom of that well. Go mark that songbird. And since that day, if you look for it, you will see an M. That if you look to Stephen Miller, you will see an M. You will see an M. And he really has a brand. It really is something to see. And somehow M smiles beneath that brand. M is content. If you want to know about Kevin Roberts, by all means, know about M. Kevin Roberts does not just tolerate M. M gives Kevin Roberts life. M is the murderer. And we would do well to mark M well. So what were you saying, Kevin, about us not understanding? What were you saying about Vice President Kamala Harris misinterpreting your 922 pages of Nazi dictatorship, gaslight, dog whistling, and cloaking? What exactly is the Stepford reality you are both proposing and trying to obscure from view? The answer to you, Kevin, is that you are a white fire terrorist, and you are not welcome in public. You need to get healthcare, mental health help, because you are threatening violence, and you will be stopped. So go get mental health care right now, because we're not going to deal with this. We're going to dispatch this, and we're going to dispatch this, and we are going to dispatch this. We don't have time to be distracted by murderers when our habitat and our place in our habitat needs attention. When all of the things that Trump has done to decimate connection and human family continue to tear us apart and leave gaps where actual kindness and leadership and Americans with humanity can show up. So, Kevin, you too bear the M. You're no Stephen Miller, but then you're no law-abiding, non-lynch mobber either. You're no safe, trustworthy businessman either. You are no trusted part of human family anywhere on earth either. You are a looter and a murderer and a thief. And tidy puff pieces in USA Today are confessions. You are a nonsense. You are a Nazi, and you are attacking this country, including with psychological warfare, including politeness, masking a white pointy hood. You are not welcome. The answer to you is no. No, murderer. No, Project 2025. No, Heritage Foundation. No, Agenda 47. No, Schittler. No, Trumpelstiltskin. No, to someone who thinks they can trump human decency. The answer is no. The answer is no. You have been informed, and you need to seek therapy today, because therapy is coming for you today.
I made a speech. I looked out. The field was, it looked like a million and a half people. They showed a field where there were practically nobody standing there. I made a speech. I looked out. The field was, it looked like a million and a half people. They showed a field where there were practically nobody standing there.
The new White House.
I made a speech. I looked out. The field was, it looked like a million and a half people. They showed a field where there were practically nobody standing there.
The new White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, gave his first press briefing. He was also highly critical of some media organisations of the way he felt they had misrepresented the number of people who'd attended Friday's inauguration ceremony.
No one had numbers because the National Park Service, which controls the National Mall, does not put any out. This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe.
It does not excuse, and you did not answer the question.
I did answer your question.
No, you did not. You did
Yes,
not
I
answer
did.
the question of why the president asked the White House press secretary to come out in front of the podium for the first time and utter a falsehood. Why did he do that? It undermines the credibility of the entire White House press office
No,
on
it
day
doesn't.
one.
Don't be so overly dramatic about it, Chuck. You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts to that. But the point
Wait a
remains.
minute. Alternative.
This was the largest ever.
You are in an abusive relationship. Shocking boundary violations are one common grooming tactic of a narcissist or dark triad personality. If someone in your life points into a camera knowing you'll be looking at the view screen and pulls their finger like a trigger, looking into your eyes, saying, I could shoot someone in the street and not lose anyone, it is a good indicator of a bad situation. You are in an abusive relationship. Who has leveraged and climbed upon a fog of falsehood. Who has donned the falsehood? Who is the falsehood? It's very clear. Kevin Roberts, you need therapy. You have demonstrated incredible violence and malice to your neighbors and other people in your community. And then more recently, you threatened everyone in America. Get therapy right now, because we are not going to tolerate you continuing to be a feckless, witless, and actually seemingly intentional danger to yourself and other people. Go get help to stop being a Nazi patriarchal terrorist, because we are going to shut down your Project 2025 betrayal of Americans and betrayal of Christ's message. You are a betrayal of human kindness. You are a member of your own kind, but you're not acting like it. The answer is no. No. No one talks to Americans like that. No one talks to human beings like that. No one looks the other way while Nazis like Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance and Donald Trump castigate and try to stochastically murder members of our American community. You are a Ku Klux cock. You are a Nazi. And those are not good things to be. There's nothing good in hate's anti-tapestry. Go get help, because there is stuff in your past that's worth celebrating. There's stuff in your family and even in you that's worth celebrating, Kevin. But it's not the damage or the relation to white terrorism or manifest destiny. Go get help now, because you're embarrassing us. You're embarrassing humanity, and you're threatening to end our survival. We need to stop being distracted by ridiculous, feckless twits who are chasing their own dried tail of shit. You are a danger to yourself and other people, and it stops now. Apologize and get help to heal, or you will be brought to heal in ways that are defined by others. And I love you. Live long and prosper. We are the renovation of love's imagination. We are the renovation of this whole occupation. It's good to keep in mind that really since Donald Trump began his career, he's had a lot of explaining to do, but somehow hasn't done that. Somehow he's in a constant moving shell game where there's never any reason why he should be held to account. That is pretty strange, isn't it? I think it's downright bizarre. Because no presidential candidate ever has ever had more to answer for than Donald Trump.
We are the renovation. Perpendicular trains. Parallel against pain. Imagination. Parallel against hate. Parallel against pain. Radio silence brain. We are the renovation. Perpendicular trains. Parallel against hate. Parallel against pain. Of this whole occupation. Perpendicular trains. Parallel against hate. Parallel against hate. Parallel against pain. Perpendicular trains. Parallel against hate. We are more near the break. We can ease any ache. Everything we have took, everything we can take. Sixth of feet of separation. Sixth of fear of separation.
Seek therapy now, Kevin. Seek therapy right now. Seek therapy right now, Kevin. You want to maintain whatever agency you can here. And it's probably good for you to understand that creating terrorism against people, creating terrorism diminishes your chances for agency. So stop your terrorism now. Stop all of this terrorism now. Disband Project 2025 and disband the ridiculous Nazi Heritage Foundation. Apologize to humanity and seek mental health care immediately. You have been told. Liberty has been telling people to come here.